Welcome aboard and thank you for choosing Economic Voyages for your tour as we explore the wide waters of marketing and money. Today we will be traveling to the destinations of GDP and GNP, two terms the world uses to value a country's worth. Our first stop is the wonderful island of GDP. As we make our way across the seas, allow me to explain what the island of gross domestic product is, or GDP has to offer. And don't worry, there's nothing gross about this. To help you understand what GDP is, let's go back in time to the first settlers of the Economy Islands. Although they were peaceful at first, they always had competitions for who was the most valuable. The settlers were composed of fishing villages with a basic understanding of economics. They fished and counted their catches, adding to a board in the town square. As growth progressed, other islands began to send fishermen out to the GDP island. The residents of GDP were fine with this only if the other islands marked the catches on that town board. This is what GDP is, a combination of all products made in a country, including contributions from others. The leaders of GDP Island use this to value themselves and how good their fishing waters are. As you arrive to this island, go ahead and explore. Make sure to check out the board in the center and notice how the contributions from other islands are totaled here too.
11 minutes later.
Attention all Economic Voyages marketers. We are now preparing to leave to our next location at GNP. Take your last pictures and be sure to visit the gift shop to remember your time here. Like we did before, let me tell you the story of Gross National Product, or GNP. Like their sister island, there's nothing gross about it, unless you count the stinky fish. The island leaders wanted to count their value in fish produced, but instead of basing off all the fish they produced on their island, they only wanted to know how much their people produced. When they sent their fishers to other islands, they were asked to record all fish caught and bring it back to place on the GNP board. In this case, other islands are excluded in this count. The concept of GNP is easily described as how much the residents of a country make, regardless of where they live or produce. Feel free to explore GNP Island as you did with GDP Island. They have so much to offer, including the first fish caught abroad being stored in a slightly smelly frame.
Many minutes later.
Please, my fellow voyagers of economic discovery, make your way back to the ship so we can continue on our journey. Let's set our course for a voyage of knowledge through the captivating islands of GDP and GNP. Imagine this as your very own enlightening tour through the fascinating world of economic fishing. Like two long-lost siblings, GDP and GNP share the same goal, measuring the abundance of fish in a country's waters. However, they use different fishing techniques. GDP is like the island that hosts a grand international fish festival, welcoming fishermen from near and far to contribute to its fish market. GNP, in contrast, operates like a close-knit fishing club, counting only the fish caught by its own intrepid fishermen, regardless of where they cast their nets. Now, why should us explorers care about GDP? Think of it as your insider's guide to the local fish market. A high GDP means there is bountiful catch available, and folks are more likely to set sail on their own fishing adventures. It's like opening a fisher shop during a seafood frenzy. And speaking of fishing expeditions, GNP helps us discover where our fellow fishermen are casting their nets. If our brave fishermen are exploring new fishing grounds and bringing in fish from distant waters, that's where we want to set up our seafood restaurant. All this talk of fish and money is making me hungry. For fish, that is. And maybe money. I like money. Sometimes they call me Mr. Krabs on deck for how much I love money. I really don't know what I would do without it. I most certainly would do anything for it. Yeah, I can definitely do that. Sorry about that, folks. Got a bit carried away. While I go get yelled at by my boss for my tangents, help yourself to the seafood bar prepared by our chefs, who may or may not have slipped some bills in the food. Good news, sailors, I was not fired, but I've been asked to limit what I say. Thankfully, this is where our tour gets exciting. When it comes to marketing, GDP is like the wind in our sails, propelling our fishing boats forward. A booming GDP means we can embark on grand fishing expeditions, invest in larger fishing vessels, and prepare for epic catches. But when GDP is as calm as the tranquil sea, it's time to lower our sails and navigate with caution, seeking opportunities with smaller boats. And no one likes things to be small, right? As for our friends at GNP, their number is found from catching fish from far and wide. It's an indicator that they might appreciate unique, high-quality seafood offerings like what you passengers are enjoying now. However, when they're being more thrifty, it's time to provide affordable fish dishes for their feasts. Boo! Boo! Us here at Economic Voyages have asked the village leaders on how they were able to become so profitable. Chief Garrison Don Perry looks at other islands' GDPs to see where he should send his fishers. On the other hand, Chief Georgina Nora Perry, who's Chief GDP's sister, looks at the GNP of other islands to better understand who is thriving on their own without the help of others. These islands aren't just numbers on a map. They're your guides to the uncharted waters of economic exploration. So fellow intrepid explorers, keep your fishing nets ready and adjust your strategies as you embark on your own thrilling expeditions through the unexplored territories of economic wonder. Thanks for joining us on this educational adventure, and may your future voyages be filled with an abundance of fish, laughter, and valuable insights as you continue to navigate the seas of economic discovery. Please exit on your left and place all 3D glasses in the bins outside the ship. Drive home safely, and don't be like the economy on October 28, 1929.